Hello there, this is Heirs to the Kingdom channel, and in today's lesson we're doing Daniel chapter 7. The title of this one is, the main title is Daniel's Visions. This is one of his visions, and the title of this one is Four Great Beasts. If you are new to this is a Bible study channel where I'm going through the King James Bible and explaining what the Bible means, which parts pertain to us today, which parts don't from the Old Testament, and, what everybody's supposed to be doing. If you're going to serve the Lord, you have to serve the Lord. You can't serve yourself and serve the world and say that you're serving the Lord. There's a lot of people that think they can do this, and they're failing. You can't have two masters. The Bible says you're part of the lukewarm. God will spat you out. The lukewarm people are worse than the non-believers, the Bible says. And why? Is because the lukewarm people believe in God but do not obey. God's going to spit them out. They're not worth anything. They're worse than the non-believers. I don't know how anybody, could stand knowing that that's what God thinks of them. There's a lot of people out there that they always find someone out there to say what they want to hear to justify their lifestyle. It don't work that way. Just because some human being says it, but the scriptures don't. The scriptures rule human beings. Human beings do not rule the scriptures. But if you are new to this, I do recommend starting off at Genesis chapter 1 and getting caught up. That way you know what's going on. And so into this lesson, we're going to be talking about the end times. And Revelation goes into more detail about the end times and what all will happen. This is the intro to the end times, the vision that was given to Daniel. So it does have a description, a definition to the vision. Because you got to remember, Daniel was not an interpreter. God told him what things meant. He was not some wise person that could always tell what things meant, figure out all riddles of the earth. No. God told him what things meant. That's how he knew he was right, in being that God was right, because God spoke through him. But it's going to be a short, I ain't going to say short, but a straightforward reading. It isn't going to take too long of the lesson. I will say I did try to start a GoFundMe to go with the Give, Send, Go. And you get to that part that says you got to put in your cell phone number and they'll text you a code. And I forgot about that because I've tried to do this before with something else and I never get the code. And so it doesn't tell me what number it will be coming from. I don't know if I might have accidentally blocked the number. Even if I did block the number, I don't have something on my phone that lets me know if one of the blocked numbers recently tried to contact me or not. But I do not believe that I would block them because I've never really used them before. Not unless they are spam numbers as well. I don't know. So I will be linking the Give, Send, Go again for Stitch, and all his recovery and stuff. Things are going well, except the Give, Send, Go. I said I got like $370 in donations out of 5,000. So don't really know what's going on there with that. But like I said, if I can just get like $1 from 5,000 people, that'd be great. I even had people on my friends list saying that they couldn't help. I'm sitting there like, not even $1? You ain't even got $1. You know, they say, oh, I can share it, but I ain't got no money to give. I'm sitting there like, yeah. But these are the same people that I've always given something if they had something going on. I always tried to help, but I don't. Now, one of them that I've helped has helped me back in this. But most of the other ones never helped me back. I don't know why. They're the same people that also call themselves my friends and also Christians. But, que sera, sera. I don't really know what's going on in their lives. I'm not going to unjustly judge, but I do think it's kind of fishy that when they need help, they always expect me to be Johnny on the spot. But if I need help, can't do much. You got to watch out for people like that in life. They'll drain you mentally, emotionally, physically, and even financially. You got to learn to kick people like that out of your lives. That's these lukewarm people. They like to call themselves something, but they don't like to live by it. Yeah, I think out of 100 and something people in my friends list that I sent to on Facebook, the link from Give, Send, Go, I think only maybe 20 of them shared it. And, you know, it's just, I don't know. Because on Facebook, you always get a little thing saying, you know, this many people, this person shared your post or your link and whatever else. So, like I said again, you know, if you will, you know, please share it. But, you know, either or, I'm just going to be posting the link. You can share if you want to. Donate if you want to. As I said, it's pretty much probably run at Steam. And so, what money I did get pretty much covered the neutering and the doctor visits and stuff and medication. Actually, it didn't cover all of that. It just covered a couple of the visits and the neutering, and I think another visit after the actual surgery. But, you know, whatever. You know, God's going to take care of me either way. Jesus always promised to do that, and he always has done that. But let's go ahead and get into God's lesson, though. Well, the scriptures. Like I said, this is for people today to understand Revelation even more. Revelation gets into more details about this, but I don't remember it talking about this area specifically, so this is kind of like attached to it. So you take this scripture and Revelation and you put them together, and, you know, this will be talking about primarily just the human beings part of it, not, you know, what happens after Judgment Day, before Judgment Day. So in Revelation, it breaks it down more that there's 2 resurrections. This doesn't break into the resurrections or this, that, and the other. It's just talking about kingdoms before Jesus returns. So, of course, this doesn't say when Jesus returns, it says Son of Man returns. Son of Man comes. Because they don't know who Jesus is. This is all pre, you know, of Jesus walking the earth and the end of the law and starting of grace. Let's go ahead and get in here. There's 28 verses. So, chapter 7, verse 1. In the first year of Belshazzar, king of Babylon, Daniel had a dream and visions of his head upon his bed. Then he wrote the dream and told the sum of the matters. Daniel spake and said, I saw in my vision by night, and behold, the 4 winds of the heaven strove upon the great sea. And 4 great beasts came up from the sea, diverse one from another. But dyslexia kicked in. I read it one way and said it another. Verse 4. The first was like a lion and had eagle's wings. I beheld till the wings thereof were plucked, and it was lifted up from the earth, and made stand upon the feet as man, and a man's heart was given to it. And behold, another beast, a second, like to a bear, and it raised up itself on one side, and it had 3 ribs in the mouth of it between the teeth of it. And they said thus unto it, Arise, devour much flesh. After this I beheld, and lo, another like a leopard, which had upon the back of it 4 wings of a fowl. The beast also 4 heads, and dominion was given to it. After this I saw in the night visions, and behold, a 4th beast, dreadful and terrible and strong exceedingly. And strong exceedingly. And it had great iron teeth. It devoured and brake in pieces, and stamped the residue with the feet of it. And it was diverse from all the beasts that were before it, and it had 10 horns. I considered the horns, and behold, there came up among them another little horn, before whom there were 3 of the first horns plucked up by the roots. And behold, in this horn were eyes like the eyes of man, and a mouth speaking great things. I beheld till the thrones were cast down, and the Ancient of Days did sit, whose garment was white as snow, and the hair of his head like the pure wool. His throne was like the fiery flame, and his wheels as burning fire. Well, we can recognize who that's talking about. Verse 10. A fiery stream issued and came forth from before him. Thousands ministered unto him. And 10,000 times 10,000 stood before him. The judgment was set, and the books were opened. So we automatically know this is the end times. Jesus returns. This is all talking about that. The book's open. Jesus returns. He's the one in white. Verse 11. I beheld then because of the voice of the great words which the horn spake. I beheld even till the beast was slain, and his body destroyed, and given to the burning flame. Now, also in Revelation, it speaks of the false prophet and the beast. The beast will be released, and the false prophet and the beast were cast into the lake of fire. Verse 12. As concerning the rest of the beast, they had their dominion taken away, yet their lives were prolonged for a season and time. I saw in the night visions, and behold, one like the Son of Man came with the clouds of heaven, and came to the Ancient of Days, and they brought him near before him. And there was given him dominion and glory and a kingdom, that all people, nations, and languages should serve him. His dominion is an everlasting dominion which shall not pass away, and his kingdom that which shall not be destroyed. Now, before we go on, they were talking about here judgment, and then the books opened, when it's actually the opposite. And Revelation gets more detail, saying the books are open, Jesus comes down and reigns for 1,000 years of peace. Then after the 1,000 years of peace, which all nations will be under Christ, Then judgment. The judgment day will happen then. After that, that's the second resurrection. Then death and hell are cast into the lake of fire, and the Revelation says this is known as the second death. Because then it says, on judgment day, death, hell, and the seas will give up the dead. But, like I said, this is just a section of it talking about the end times. And this is, I can't remember how many hundreds or 1,000 years it is from Daniel to Christ on the earth. But then later on, Christ is already off the earth, resurrected, ascended back into heaven. And Revelation is from, I always have a hard time remembering which one of the disciples wrote that. I'm so horrible with names. I want to say Paul, or is it Peter? Anyways, I think it was Paul. He's the one that was cast out to the island Patmos. Was it Patmos? The name of the island. He was an outcast to that. That's where he was imprisoned at, and that's where he spent time alone with God, with Christ and stuff, and Christ gave him the vision of Revelations, which he wrote down. So while he was imprisoned on the island Patmos, more than likely he had pen and paper. When I say pens, but they're able to write with stuff, and he wrote all this stuff down, which was named Revelations. So let's continue. Like I said, here's the entry part of the end times, and then the more details of it's in Revelation. But let's continue on here. 15. I, Daniel, was grieved in my spirit in the midst of my body, and the visions of my head troubled me. I came near unto one of them that stood by, and asked him the truth of all this. So he told me and made me know the interpretation of the things. These great beasts which are four kings which shall arise out of the earth. But the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom and possess the kingdom forever, even forever and ever. So God's saints, us Christians, we get it all after. There'll be no more kings of the earth, no more capitalism, no more socialism, no more communism, no more any of these other horrific isms, no more Satanisms, no more feminisms, none of that crap. All that stuff will be gone. These money-hungry, power-hungry people will all be gone, because God's people are none of those. I mean, sorry to say, but real Christians aren't even capitalists, in a sense. We believe earning our keep and keeping what we earn. We do believe in being paid for our work, what we do, with whatever we need payment for. But most capitalisms go into industrial capitalisms and all these other things where it's like, it's corporations and this, that, and the other. It's not like it's like one person owning all the carpenters or ruling over the carpenters. So here you got the furniture makers, this, that, and the other. Now that you have these giant corporations, and it was never supposed to be that. It's supposed to be everybody individually doing their own kind of thing, whatever they're gifted at. So they said, we're not even, real Christians are not even known in what capitalism has become. But capitalism is the closest things to what it's supposed to be, for the sense that, people work, earn their keep, make their livings and stuff like that. But anyways, let's continue on here. Verse 19. Then I would know the truth of the fourth beast, which was diverse from all the others, exceeding dreadful, whose teeth were of iron, and his nails of brass, which devoured, brake in pieces, and stamped the residue with his feet. Now, what makes me think of that when we're talking about iron stuff is the Industrial Revolution, because that's pretty much a king over us all today. It's what the world has become, going from farmers, ranchers, basic skilled trades and stuff, to what we have today, which is, more war, more hate, more control, more lies, more pollution, more of the wrong stuff, but it does offer jobs that pay money so we can live. But we don't get to live as good as we used to, because it used to be we just lived. But now we have to do it their way. So, let's continue on to verse 20. And the 10 horns that were in his head, and of the other which came up, and before whom 3 fell, even of that horn that had eyes, and a mouth that spake very great things, whose look was more stout than his fellows, I beheld, and the same horn made war with the saints, and prevailed against them. So what are we known to do that? That will be the false prophet. You got to remember, he brings the mark of the beast. The saints cannot take the mark of the beast. But this one, the false prophet, brings all the nations together. And it's pretty much like the last king. Minus Israel and one other country. Like I said, I'm still hoping that America's that other country, but we shall see. Maybe I'll be here when it happens, maybe I won't. But either or. In a sense, I hope I'm not here. Most people will hope that they're not here during that time, because without the mark of the beast, you won't even be able to shop for groceries. Like me, I'm too physically damaged to try to be a farmer now. I'm in my 50s and physically damaged from the military. My ability to fight off marauders, to by myself, stuff like that, to ranch, to farm, to cut down trees with whatever I can find and try to make shelter with, it's quite limited. I can do some things still. I can do quite a bit as long as I got the tools. But see, we won't even have access to tools. That's going to be a very hard time for God's people who don't take the mark of the beast. Very hard times, because you won't be allowed to do anything. So all you'll have is what's available around you. So you can, hopefully people are paying attention. All these, like Fallout, all these, even the old movies of Road Warrior and all this other stuff. What was the other one? Walking Dead, minus the zombies, stuff like that, where you're scavenging for everything. You got to try to make tools from nothing. It's going to be Survivor on severe steroids type show. Who knows? Maybe they're going to make a show of it like Hunger Games. They say, hey, look at all these. I mean, they got cameras everywhere now. Probably have drones following everybody. Say, hey, let's watch them suffer. Yay! I mean, who knows what they're going to do? They're going to be so evil people. I mean, look how much of the world don't believe in God as it is already, and the ones that do believe in God, they have no desire to obey. So I mean, they're still lost. But yeah. Anyways, I hope I'm not here for that, but I might be. Because the end times are coming. And so, like I said, I hope that America's part of that country, because that country won't take the mark of the beast. It may be on the scene, but it should not be made mandatory, because one nation comes to the defense of Israel. The only nation I know of that's always been on that so far has been America. One that will always come and try to defend Israel. But Let's continue on here. Verse 22. Until the Ancient of Days came, and judgment was given to the saints of the Most High, and the time came that the saints possessed the kingdom. So say, just because you're a Christian doesn't mean you bypass judgment. It's just Jesus will stand before, he'll be your litigator. Jesus will stand between you and God says, welcome my good and faithful. Because you still have the people that they won't know Jesus, but Jesus will stand before them as well to protect them. Because remember, Jesus, when he forgave mankind's sins, it was past, present, and future. So all the godly people that were before then, that believed in God, they fall into that category. So Jesus will be their litigator as well. This is a lot of what grace is all about, where it's like we're not worthy of it. We're not worthy of what Jesus did on the cross for us. But let's continue on. Did I read 22? Oh, yeah, I did. Okay, it's 23. Thus he said, the fourth beast shall be the fourth kingdom upon earth, which shall be diverse from all kingdoms. So that diverse, DEI stuff going on here. Well, that sound like's been going on. And who's been pushing that the most? The left. They want their kingdom. They want to rule. But the diverse kingdom is like multiple nations all in one. Sounds like NATO as well. And Americans are getting tired of NATO because NATO's trying to be a new world, a complete world government. But anyways, I got lost in there. Yes, kingdom upon earth, which shall be diverse from all kingdoms, and shall devour the whole earth, and shall tread it down and break it in pieces. And the 10 horns out of this kingdom are 10 kings that shall arise, and another shall rise after them, and he shall be diverse from the first, and he shall subdue 3 kings. And he shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High, and think to change times and laws. So this is the one thing the son of Satan, the false prophet. He's great with words. He's gonna have the words that people just instantly believe. They're going to repeat it. It's like, we have news organizations doing this stuff now. They're giving a narrative. Just repeat this. Okay. It's like the shampoo instructions. Rinse, lather, repeat, rinse, lather. That's all they do. They just do what they're told. They don't think. I said, this stuff is wrapping up around here. And all nations are on the chopping block for this. But let's see. Let's go back to, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High, and think to change times and laws. And they shall be given into his hand until a time and times and the dividing of time. But the judgment shall sit, and they shall take away his dominion to consume and to destroy it unto the end. I said the world is going to be destroyed and made new. There's a lot of stuff Daniel saw that he didn't know how to describe. Imagine trying to describe the entire world burning, being destroyed by fire. In Revelation, it gets more in details of that. That's when Judgment Day happens. That's when the world will be destroyed and made new, because God has to wipe off all the evil stuff that was ever on the earth and make it to what he always wanted it to be. Let's continue on 27. And the kingdom and dominion and the greatness of the kingdom under the whole heaven shall be given to the people of the saints of the Most High, whose kingdom is an everlasting kingdom, and all dominions shall serve and obey him. Hitherto is the end of the matter. As for me, Daniel, my cogitations much troubled me, and my countenance changed in me, but I kept the matter in my heart. So he didn't speak of this too much because of what he saw. And when you have a vision like that, you're not just seeing things change. Now, we're so numbed because of violent movies and video games and this, that, and the other. We have a vision and stuff like that, and like, oh, okay, well, that kind of sucks. We just kind of move on today. I'm sorry, but we are kind of numbed today by this type of stuff. We are addicted to violent films and stuff. There goes one of my other dogs shaking off my Pyrenees. But in their times, they had wars that happened and stuff like that. But to see a worldwide devastation, that'd break a lot of people who's never seen anything like that. Like I said, we've seen too many end of world movies, too many nuclear blasts and Judgment Day of Terminator 2s and this, that, and the other, and all these other things. We got Oppenheimer done went on. We've seen too many World War II movies with Japan, and it's like we get a little numbed down from it. But also, adults and real people know the difference between movies and reality. But when you see death a lot, whether it's on the screen in a movie or in face to face, if it's detailed enough, it looks real enough, and it has the same effect. So that's how doctors and nurses and all stuff, they get used to these things, is because they've seen it so often that they don't respond to it no more. But in the beginning, they do get queasy, and it affects them until they get used to it. Now, you'd be surprised what you're able to get used to in this world. A lot of people today they're against slavery, but they are slaves themselves because you can't live free no more. As I said, it's really surprising how the evil ones know how to manipulate just right and what you can live with and be accustomed to. But anyways, that's the end of the lesson. So I'm going to go ahead and end here. I've done talked a lot, plus my Pyrenees wants to try to climb on my table and everything else because he wants my attention right now. And they're stubborn dogs. He's 100 pounds, and he's like, pet me, boy, pet me. So yeah, here I am, a slave to pets in a sense. I do so much for these things. I love them, though. They're in my life. They help give me purpose, but companionship and everything in between. They're good. But yeah, anyways, if you can help out with the give, send, go, share, and or donate, please do. But remember to pray. Pray for me, especially with all that going on and what I got going on here. Pray for yourself. I'm going to pray for you. Pray for the lost. Pray for the found. We got to pray for the lost a lot because they don't realize how lost they are and how deceived they have become. Yeah. Especially these lukewarm people. We got to really pray for them. That's the hardest ones to witness to because, they think they're good to go. They've been told by somebody that it's okay. And it's not that way. I've talked about this numerous times beforehand. But anyways, remember to pray all the time, everywhere, about everything. And always give God the glory and give the Lord thanks. So, I hope everybody's had a good Sabbath, which is Saturday from Friday night to Saturday night. And if you go to church tomorrow morning, I hope you have a good time at church. I hope I will too. So, until next time, God bless, good night, and goodbye.